Thank you for joining our webcast today, Simplify Your Business Processes Through Workflow. And this is going to be presented to you by S4i Systems and Bonita Soft. So I'm going to give a few more seconds to let some of the attendees log on because I know that we had a lot of registrants. So I'm going to just give a few seconds here. See if any other folks join. And then we can begin our webinar. Okay, so I guess we'll just begin our webinar here. Simplify your business processes through workflow. And I'm going to click into the next screen here. And again, your presenters are S4i Systems and Bonita Soft. And just a brief agenda here for everyone. My name is Alex Rodriguez. I'm the Sales Director at S4i Systems, and we're going to review just a brief introduction. Promise not to bore you to death with too many slides, but just a brief introduction of S4i Systems, who we are. And then we're going to introduce Ashira Blau. She's the sales executive at Bonita Soft, and she'll give a brief overview of Bonita Soft and who they are. And also we'll be listening to the meat of the main part of our demonstration, or see a live demonstration of Bonita BPM with Anne-Laure Dufoy. She's the pre-sales workflow expert, and then of course we'll follow up with a question and answer. Our webinar is going to last about 1 hour, and if you notice when you logged in, there's an area where you can enter your questions, and please enter your questions during our discussion. Feel free to type in the questions there, and we'll field the questions at the end of our discussion there in the Q&A, the question and answer. And any questions that we can't answer readily, we'll be sure to follow up with you after the webinar is completed. But feel free to type in your questions as we go in our discussion, and then we'll review those in our Q&A. So why workflow and business process management, or BPM? We know that the entire world today runs on software and applications, and the need for modernization and automation regarding business processes is indeed growing, isn't it? And the demands are increasing in this ever-changing world that we live in. So no matter the industry that you're in, looking at how you can use software to run more efficiently and assist your employees to become more productive, and also to deliver your products and services is absolutely necessary, isn't it? So today we're going to see how software can simplify your business processes through workflow. And just a little bit of who S4i Systems, who are we? Well, S4i Systems, since 2002, we're an independent software vendor, an ISV. We focus on document automation, focusing on products with electronic content management and workflow. We are an international company, and we have customers located globally. We provide technical professional services, and our expertise is in workflow, BPM, business process management. So we help our customers with installation, integration, implementation, also process analysis and design, and we support our customers 24/7 with our support staff based in the United States and also the United Kingdom. And just a little bit further of who S4i Systems is. If you notice the second point there, we have a flagship product. It's a document management product called S4i Express NG. It allows our customers to capture, to scan, to index. You can also have the capability of advanced forms processing. You know, you can distribute, auto-distribute to end users and departments various forms or variations of forms. You can sort, and like we said, you can index. Also, too, you can retrieve and build electronic libraries for archive and retrieval. And also, we have the capability within S4i Express NG for viewing your documents on the web. So it plays nicely with Bonita BPM that you're going to see in the next few moments here demonstrated live here during our webinar. S4i Systems, we also have expertise within your business processes for workflow with human resources. We have experience with order entry, accounts payable, purchase orders, invoices, shipping, receiving, and all the other necessary components to keep your businesses alive and running as you modernize your workflows and your business processes. And for more information, please see our website at s4isystems.com. And now let's listen in to Ashira as she introduces BonitaSoft. Ashira.
Thank you, Alex. So I'm just going to start by telling you where BonitaSoft is in the process automation arena. Of course, there's custom development, which could be flexible, but very, very expensive. And then there's the traditional BPM, which is pretty rigid and kind of lets your business be stuck where it is for the year, for the duration, because there's really no updating for the application. And then there's BonitaSoft. BonitaSoft does give you the traditional BPM, but we also give you the capability to customize the BPM by giving you a UI designer that allows you to add widgets to its component and be able to let you have the option to code and make your tool more flexible. We're also very extensible because we're not limiting you to any specific industry. You can go ahead and develop and model complex processes. And the tool is very adaptable by giving you and letting you maintain the application and update it very easily according to your business changes. So what are we offering? We're offering you a component to software where you can model and execute powerful processes by including your data and automating all your systems, letting you build engaging applications that you're able to update real time, on the fly, without stopping production, and that's very important. We're also offering you about 100 connectors, and if you have a proprietary system and you need a special connector, you could easily develop the connector with using our great API. We also, in the Bonita BPM, you could also monitor everything from end to end in your process. The key benefits to the Bonita BPM is that your developer can go ahead and develop applications much faster, and you could see the improvement in productivity in developers when they're using BonitaSoft. You could maintain the application very easily, very affordable, because we offer live updates. You could update your application without stopping production. So if your business has changes and you want to make changes in your process, you don't have to stop production. You can just make the changes on the fly. We're also empowering your users. Your users are able to have accessible, usable applications that are very easy for them to use and very productive for the business. And giving all that, your business can improve its efficiency with a rich monitoring tool and great reporting. What are the BonitaSoft customers using Bonita BPM for? Well, different types of processes or different types of users. We have different types of use for the BPM. There are some processes that are for membership, for after-sales services, human resources, e-invoice validation, subcontractor onboarding, plant design, online imaging processes. As you can see across the board, we're not confined to one industry. The BPM is very flexible, where of course you could go ahead and model your processes as complex as they may be. There's no limit to how complex your process should be. And you could also do very simple processes as well. So just to let you know how do we help you succeed, we have expert consultants. We have international support. We have comprehensive training. And we have a dedicated success team. Our dedicated success team will work with you throughout your project lifecycle. And we have a great ecosystem with over 120,000 community members, over 1,000 customers, over about 170 partners in 75 different countries. And now I'm going to give the presentation to Anna Laura, our engineer at Bonita Soft. She's going to introduce Bonita Soft, the BPM itself, Bonita BPM 7.
Hello. Hello, I'm Anne-Laure Dufour, pre-sales consultant at Bonita Soft. I'll present you today a demo of our product so that you'll see the possibilities it offers. But first, I will start with a short introduction based on few slides to present you the different components of the product. Applications created with Bonita BPM are quite different from applications that are built the old way. Hard-coded, custom applications can't keep up with today's level of constant business change. Bonita BPM, on the other hand, allows your applications to adapt in real time to process changes, user interfaces updates, and even the underlying data model. This is why we call them living applications. So here is how it works. First, you can create powerful processes using BPMN2 standard. You can define, store, and query the business data that will be used. Once your processes are built, it's easy to build highly engaging, personalized applications to support them. You get state-of-the-art tools for building great user interfaces that will work on every device so that your end users can access and interact with your business data no matter where they are. And finally, as I have already mentioned, this application aren't the rigid hard-coded applications that you get from custom development. You can make changes to anything, to your processes, to your data model, and even to your user interfaces, as well as identify and solve errors on those applications on the fly. The results are amazing. Here you can see a business applications built end-to-end with Bonita BPM 7. So you can launch processes and create tasks natively within the new application. You are not being redirected to a web page. You are interacting directly with your business systems and data. Users can see the data and analytics they need to do their job more effectively. They can see it right within the applications in powerful and easy to understand graphics. And finally, the user experience isn't sacrificed at any steps of the way. These are rich, multi-page applications that offer a great deal of personalization, so developers and users aren't limited by a one-size-fits-all approach. So now, let's see it in live. So today I will present you a demonstration of an invoice validation process. As Ashiwa presented, our product is process agnostic. So in this case we will present a financial process, but you understood that Bonita BPM can handle any kind of process. In this demonstration, we will start describing Bonita BPM Studio, which is the element, the component you can see here, which is where processes are designed. And then we will execute the process from the web application created with Bonita BPM. The components, the third component of Bonita BPM, after Bonita BPM Studio and Portal, is Bonita BPM Engine, and it's a component that I cannot show you in the demonstration because it's the one executing the job behind, but it's a main element of our product. So let's start with Bonita BPM Studio. So this is the component used by people designing and configuring the processes. When you want to design a new process, you do it this way. You have a large set of elements on the left, which we call the palette, and you choose the BPM and 2.0 elements that you need and drag and drop them. So in this case, if I need an automatic step, I drag and drop it from the left, and then I create my process. This is the way it works. But let's see the process we will run today. So as I told you, it's an invoice validation process where an employee submits an invoice that has to be validated by the managers. So the invoice is submitted. We do some updates on the data. Then there is a first level validation by William Jobs in this case, but of course it can depend on the employee who submits the document. And depending on the amount of the invoice, we have a second level of validation or not, or we go directly to the notification to the employee that his invoice was validated or rejected. So this is a very simple process, but it can show you the main possibilities of our product. Of course, our customers manage much more complicated processes with very different and very a large set of behaviors in the processes. So first, what can be done with the processes is to configure some connections to your information system. So for this, we offer a large set of connectors. Connectors are components native in Bonita BPM that permit you to connect the processes to some systems from your information system. So you can connect the processes to some document management system. So we offer connectors to Alfreco, to CMIS. We offer connectors to CRM systems such as Salesforce, to calendars, to many databases of the market, to SAP, to LDAP, to send some emails, to create documents, to create Jasper reports, to connect to systems in web services, to connect to Twitter, to Talent, etc. As Ashiwal told you, if you don't find the connector in this list, the connector you need, you can build it in Java. Then what you can do with your processes when you design them is to build the data that will be used by the process. So in this case, we have created two tables, invoice and supplier, that will be accessed and will be filled by the processes. Of course, with processes, you can manage also documents. So documents can be parts of the processes, and a typical case is to to send the documents through a validation process, as it is the case in this demonstration, and to store the documents in a document management system, such as the one S4i proposes. The studio can be connected to a SVN repository to share the developments of the developer team who is working on the same processes, data, and user interfaces. So these are the main possibilities of the studio. Of course, we have much more, but today I don't have time to present all of them. Now I would like to present you the UI designer, which is the components linked to the studio to create all the user interfaces. It permits to create the forms linked to the human task, but also the pages from the applications. I can show you an example of page built with the UI designer. It's the one you can see here in my application. The UI designer is a tool based on Angular and Bootstrap technologies. So we have created for you a large set of widgets that you can use and drag and drop in your page or in your form. Then you have many configuration options on each of the widgets. So this is how you can create some pages and forms. If you don't find the widget you need in this list, you can build your own widget. So I show you the interface to do it. So it's based on Angular. You can create your own widgets, so you are never limited within Auto to create your processes and your user interfaces. So these were the main functionalities of the studio and the UI designer. So now let's go to the portal part to show you how end users, and then we'll see also how administrators can interact with processes and tasks. So what I present you here is a native portal of Bonita BPM, which comes with the product. So it gives to the end user a task list where he can see all the tasks that he has to do, and he can interact with a team to say to take the task to communicate with the team on the fact that he will do this task. He can view a list of cases that he has created or on which he has worked, and he can see a list of processes that he is allowed to initiate. So this is a native portal of Bonita BPM for end users. You'll see after that we have an administrator part, and you can also create as many profiles as you need and give them the right to see this page or not. So you can create your own set of pages that each of your employees can see in the portal. So this was the native portal. Then you can create your own living application as the one I'm showing you here. So this is an application built to manage specifically invoices. And this is really oriented to invoice management business. So on this page you can see that Helen Kelly, who is an employee, can see also a list of cases and can see directly some KPIs on the invoice validation. She can also see a list of documents links to the process. She can see a list of suppliers and create new suppliers. And she can see dashboard with more KPIs on the invoice management. So let's see how she can submit an invoice. So she will click on this button, enter new invoice, and she accesses to the form which was designed in Bonita BPM UI Designer. So here she has to enter the supplier name. So we'll choose this one with auto-completion. She has to say from which department she comes from. So let's say she's from marketing. The invoice date. So we'll do it for today. The invoice amount. So we'll say we give an amount, and documents. So on invoice validation, I will put this invoice, and I will also submit the contract linked to the relationship with the supplier. So as I told you, Bonita BPM can handle the documents, and documents can then be stored thanks to our connectors in document management systems. And Helen Kelly submits her invoice. So KPIs have been updated, and she can see in the list of invoices her invoice, and she can see that the status is in progress. So as I showed you in the studio, so an employee can submit an invoice, and then William Jobs is the first level approver. So Helen Kelly has no more task linked to this case. So let's log out and log in as William Jobs with the first level approver for invoices. So William Jobs can see here that he has a validation to make. You can see here the form, so you can see that forms can be presented in a new page or in the same page. So it depends on how you want to show this information to your end users. We offer many possibilities. So William Jobs can see information about the invoice submitted by Helen Kelly. He can also download the documents if he wants to check them, and he can choose to reject or approve the invoice. So let's say that he will approve it. And this is done for William Jobs. So to come back to the process, I show you, then we have an amount upper than 5,000 euros or dollars. So we have a second level of validation by Jan Fischer. So let's log in as Jan Fischer. Who will also have to make a validation. So this is this one, and he can also check all the information linked to the invoice, and let's say he approves it. So this is done for him. So now if I go to the invoice, to my inbox, so this is the email direction that was entered for Helen Kelly, and you can see that the employee who submitted the invoice received a notification to tell her that the invoice from this department with this amount was approved. So this is an example of the usage of a connector. So in this case, it's a native connector, the email connector, that we offer in our project. Of course, you can implement different kinds of interactions to read and write data in databases, to interact with document management systems, to interact with Salesforce, with SAP, etc. So the case is finished, but now I would like to show you all the administration possibilities that we offer in our product. So now I'm going to the native portal and to the administrator profile. Here directly I can see a monitoring dashboard on all what's occurring on my platform. So I can see that I have 79 open cases and I have 11 with failures for all these different processes. And I can drill down to the processes with failures. So in this case, we don't have any failure on our invoice validation process, but we have on this process. So if I want to understand where the failure comes from, I can directly view the diagram of the process. So in this case, it's a case management process. So it shows you that with Bonita BPM, we can handle any kind of process. So the case management process is a process linked to the support of a company to manage the cases from the customers. And you can see here the number of cases which are waiting on every step. So for instance, we have 5 cases waiting in the preliminary analysis. We have 1 case waiting for resolution here, etc. And in red I have all the processes which have errors. So I have 9 errors on creating a portal access for the customer to fill in the successful information about the resolution of its case. So I can, if I have a look in my invoice validation, I can see the same kind of diagram. It's really useful to know where you have some errors and some bottlenecks in your processes. I can also have a look to the cases list linked to my invoice validation process. And for each one, I can also view the case design and view where the process has gone through. So in this case, it has gone through this way. An important feature is also the living parts of the processes. So as an administrator, if I have some modifications to make to my processes, I have 2 choices. I can develop a new version of my process and deploy it. So this is of course a possibility, but I can also make some live modifications on the process directly from my portal. So this is something that can really save time in managing your processes from day to day, because you don't have to come back to a development phase every time you need to make a small modification on your process. So for this process, I can in live modify the actors of my process. For instance, if I want to add I want to add April Sanchez as an approver of second level, I can do it from here. I can also change the value of some parameters of my process. So this can be technical parameters or business parameters. So for instance, you have seen in the process execution that I had a limit amount on the invoice to have 1 or 2 levels of validations. So this limit was $5,000. In my company, this level can change, and tomorrow my managers can tell me, okay, no, it's $10,000. So this is the kind of change of modifications that I can do directly from here. And now if I run my process again, you will see that if I put the same amount for the invoice, which was 7,800, I will have only 1 level of validation. Then in live, I can also modify the implementation of my connectors. I can modify the forms, which are maps to my human task. So if I want to show more or less information in a form for my end users, I can do it directly from here. I don't have to deploy a second version of my process just for that. And last but not least, I can modify in live the scripts, all the groovy scripts that I can use, that I configure in my process. I can modify them directly from here. So these are the changes that I can make in live or on all my processes. Then, as an administrator, you will also need to manage your organization. So you can do it from here, but an important feature that we offer on this topic in the product is that we offer natively a LDAP synchronizer that permits you to synchronize regularly Bonita BPM database for the organization part with the information you have in your LDAP or Active Directory system. And then, as an administrator, I can manage the applications that are deployed. So we have seen in this demonstration the invoice management application, which is this one. But you can see here that I have many more applications, which are each one linked to one business. So another example is this one, which is linked to the customer care business. So I can present a different interface to the people who are working in the support team to the ones who are working in the financial team, managing invoices. So this is something that will really help in end user acceptance of the application and will help in giving them, in having a great user experience for them. Other example are a vacation application where I can create my vacation request. So one more time, it's a different application with a different interface. So I have presented you all what I wanted to do in this demonstration. So remember, we have seen how to design a process, how to configure it, that you could build some powerful user interfaces linked to your process. So for forms, for pages, to create your custom web applications. And we have seen together how end users could have a great user experience executing their processes, and how administrators and managers could monitor these processes. So now it's open for questions. So don't hesitate to put your question in the question part of the GoToWebinar tool. If you have questions about how Bonita BPM could be used in your project.
We have one question here that I'm going to read it to you, because it has to do with the database, so I think that's appropriate for you as well.
Okay.
I saw that you had a SAP database connector. Do you have one for Oracle as well?
I have one for what? Sorry?
Oracle.
Yeah, we have a native connector for Oracle database. So I can show it to you. In the databases part, we have connectors for Oracle 10 and Oracle 11. So these are native connectors which will help you saving time in the database link configuration. You have, I cannot show it right here because I don't have an Oracle database here, but you have a graphical tool in the wizard of the connector which helps you seeing the tables while you will read and write the information from your processes. So you can see that we have connectors with many databases of the market. So for databases, we can connect to many databases, as I told you. And even if you don't find the connector you need for your system, as I told you, you can always build one in Java. If you have a custom development application in your information system, you can always build a Java connector and use it in the configuration of your processes.
Okay, thank you. We have another question here, Anna Laura. I'm not sure that you have to answer this one. I think I could, but you could chime in. Another question here was, what type of processes are usually executed by your clients? So to answer that question, since we're not geared to one particular industry, I can't say what we're a typical process, but I could say typical uses. Mainly, I mean, I see a lot of notification needs, approval needs, and so forth. But I can't say typical because we are in the HR, we are in finance, we are in energy, we are in telecom, we are in government, we are in military, we are in, you name it, we're in that industry. So I cannot really give a specific answer for typical.
So there is one question about how Bonita BPM can have, if Bonita BPM can have different configurations based on the platform where it is executed. So yes, it's something that can be done. The processes which are designed in Bonita BPM Studio can have different configurations for the platforms that you will deploy them on. So here I have a local platform, a production platform, a qualification platform, and I can create as many as I need. So you can see that on my local platform. I have done all these configurations, so this actor mapping, this connectors implementation, this value for parameters, this actor filters. So actor filters are designed to select actors in a very specific way. For instance, I won't like to have all my employees that speak English and German, and so they can attend to this customer and to this case in particular. So actor filters can depend also on where you will run your process, and process and application dependencies, so the libraries used by your processes can also depend on where you run the process. So this is something that can help you in the development, the test, and the put in production phase.
Another question in the box. The question is, how do you license your software? So we license our software according to a couple of components. One, what type of support the client needs and what addition they are looking to or need to use, where they'll see the most value. So if we have chosen, let's say, Platinum, that's 24/7 support, and Performance Edition, so that would be there's a subscription fee for the amount of use cases initiated per year for that particular edition and support. So we price in increments of 10,000 initiated cases per year, 30,000 initiated cases. The next increment is 100,000, 300,000 cases initiated a year, 1 million initiated cases a year, and that includes unlimited users, unlimited process duration, includes 2 days of professional services, and of course the support and maintenance fee that you choose. The support and maintenance is included in the subscription fee, and it's also according to what you choose, whether it's Platinum or Gold. If anyone needs clarity to any of these questions, feel free to either ask for it now on the panel or send us an email for further elaboration. So if there's no more questions, I don't see any more questions in the box. So if there's no more questions, then we can close right now. I just want to thank Alex from S4i for his highlights and the facts. I'd like to thank all those in our Anna Laura that participated and all those that helped this webinar exist. I'd like to thank the audience for joining us. And again, if anyone has any questions or wants to know anything about projects, anything about the documentation, anything of that sort, feel free to contact either S4i or us here at Bonita Soft.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very much from S4i Systems.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
Have a good
Bye,
day.
everyone.
Bye.